Hi there. Welcome to the Cloud Foundry Summit Europe Virtual Edition, here in a very interesting year of 2020. First, I want to thank all of you for taking the time to join us and to participate. It means the world to the community. Second, I want to actually extend a special thanks to all the speakers and the panel participants, all of the sponsors, all of you that are, frankly, inviting us into your homes so that you can share what you have to share. Now, today, I want to spend time with you talking about where we are as a community, where we're going as a community, and to celebrate some of the successes that we have. In April, when I stepped into the role as Executive Director of the Cloud Foundry Foundation, I shared that our community had a new North Star. It was to bring Cloud Foundry and Kubernetes together. And we did this because we know that our users are increasingly using these technologies together. In fact, here's a little preview of the data that we're collecting from our 2020 user survey. The survey is not complete, and by the way, feel free to go on cloudfoundry.org and tell us about your user stories. But what we've seen in the data we've collected so far is that nearly 90% of users are already using or evaluating Kubernetes, and 60% of all users are using Kubernetes and Cloud Foundry together. And users are what drive our community. Our mission this year has been to bring the benefits of Cloud Foundry to Kubernetes clusters everywhere. This mission has brought us together in a new way. It's re-energized the community. It's driven fresh thinking in the architecture. We've included Kubernetes and Istio and FluentD, Envoy, Kpack. We've also spun technologies out so they could be used in other contexts. Paketo is a great example. The Paketo build packs collection of build packs are now being adopted in contexts all over, whether it be public cloud providers or open source CI/CD platforms. This has been a process of fundamentally moving Cloud Foundry towards new audiences, new use cases, and new users. Now, today, we can be proud that we have made this transition. You can say it with me. Cloud Foundry is a developer experience for Kubernetes. While there's more work to be done, both to help existing users make the transition and to keep pushing and maturing the shared path, make no mistake about it, development teams, large and small, can take advantage of Cloud Foundry to simplify deployment and management of their software on Kubernetes clusters. With that in mind, we have some project announcements. The first is that the CF for K8s effort has released version 1.0. This project is all about going from Kubernetes to CF push in less than 10 minutes. It includes app staging using Kpack and Paketo. It's got encrypted communications with Istio and Envoy between all the components. Lifecycle management uses the suite of tools called Carvel, like KApp, YTT, Kbuild. Metrics, log, and event collections using FluentD. It's really embraced what the community building it likes to call kube idiomatic architecture. You can learn more about this project by going to cf4k8s.io. Give it a try. Now, kubecf has also been making significant progress. kubecf has been about taking the Cloud Foundry that we know and love, the classic Cloud Foundry, and deploying it into a Kubernetes cluster. With the 2.5 release, that project team's happy to announce that they have production-ready support for Arini included. You can use the Diego scheduler, or you can use Arini. You get the lifecycle management through the Helm toolchain. And it's really, again, it's about classic Cloud Foundry with modern infrastructure. Learn more about kubecf at kubecf.io. Now, both of those projects, CF for K8s and kubecf, really just represent different paths to get to the same outcome. Kubernetes, Cloud Foundry, working well together with a focus on supporting software developers. The third bit of news today from the open source community is that Stratos 4.2 is out. Now, for those of you that don't know Stratos, it's the open source multi-cluster UI for Cloud Foundry and now for Kubernetes and even Helm repositories. 4.2 is actually adding management of Helm charts, or the Helm chart repositories. It's adding management of Kubernetes clusters. And the project has been able to add those due to a very kind donation from SUSE. You can learn more about Stratos by going to stratos.app. Give it a whirl, point it at your favorite Cloud Foundry cluster, your favorite Kubernetes service. Start deploying apps right away with an easy-to-use interface. Let me turn now towards the summit itself. My job here was to give you some news about the community, but it's also to invite you into the event and make sure that you take advantage of everything that it has to offer. Before I go forward, I want to take a minute to thank our sponsors, all of our sponsors, but in particular the platinum sponsors of IBM Cloud, SAP, SUSE, and the VMware Tanzu team. Gold sponsors of Any9s and Datadog. And again, all of our sponsors. We owe it to them that we're together, because without sponsors, these events just simply don't happen. Take the time, please, during the breaks, go visit sponsors, say hello, even if you just pop by to say thank you for sponsoring the event. They also have some really interesting information to share with you about their various products, how they're using Cloud Foundry, what open source efforts they might have going on around Cloud Foundry, and how they see Cloud Foundry and Kubernetes coming together. In addition to the member news, in addition to the project news, we have a lot of member news that's been announced today. I won't go through all of these individually, but companies from Alibaba to VMware and everyone alphabetically in between, really interesting things happening in our ecosystem. I encourage you to dig in, find out what each one of these companies has been up to. If you're looking for help from a systems integrator in making the transition with the community, find one of them. If you're looking for an interesting take on how these open source projects come together into a product, go talk to some of these product companies. Amazing innovation happening in our ecosystem. The heart of a conference is about the sessions. Today and tomorrow, we have two parallel session tracks put together, spanning 3 different topics. New to Cloud Foundry or introductory material. Then there's the developer experience topic. That's all about experiences that developers have interacting with the software, ways that they can extend it themselves, ways that they can take advantage of its features. And our contributor topic is really, it's about getting to know the contributors that you might not know. It's also about contributors collaborating with each other. A lot of really interesting information is being shared in the sessions. I think that the track chair committees have done an amazing job of picking these sessions. I also want to point out that sprinkled throughout the event, you'll find sessions being brought in from communities that we now rely heavily on, whether that is a talk about Kubernetes and its roadmap, or whether it's a talk about Istio and its roadmap. We're building more bridges to these communities. They're building bridges with us. Use this as an opportunity to collaborate and learn more. When you're in a session, 2 things to keep in mind. First is the session chat, right? Talk with fellow attendees. Keep it lively. Speakers might be there too. Have a great conversation. And after the session recording is done playing, switch over to the session Q&A. You should be able to have a live conversation with some follow-ups. That's the collaboration angle. To get there, after each session video plays, click on the Sessions Up Next tab to get to the live Q&A for that session. You can also dig deeper. If you want to get hands-on, we brought back our hands-on labs. There's 4 of them running over the course of this event. These are live, instructor-led, hands-on experiences. The first is all about kubectl and trying out some of the new features that have been released recently. The second is CF for K8s. It's digging into the internals, understanding how CF for K8s is put together and how you can take advantage of it. The third, Stratos, how to add Kubernetes management to your UI. And last but not least, really interesting workflow, CF plus GitHub Actions. Learn how to deploy to CF from GitHub Actions. The other way that you can dig deeper and drive more conversation is the office hours. Both project teams and sponsors have project hours listed in the schedule. Please connect, please communicate, please collaborate. Other activities that are worth mentioning, there's a lot. We have our diversity event coming up at the end of the day today. We have various attendee experiences available to you at different points in time. Go check in with an alpaca. Join us for game night tomorrow. It should be a lot of fun. Now, if you have any questions at all, go to the event info tab in the lobby. You can ask general event questions. You can take a look at our code of conduct, which I will remind everyone is very important to this community. We take the code of conduct incredibly seriously. And then there's the event help desk. You could access our events team. They can let you know how to do something if you're struggling, but they're also the place to go if you're having any code of conduct related challenges. Last but not least, a reminder again, go visit the sponsors. And to make that a little bit more fun, there's a game we're running. You earn points for every sponsor you visit and interact with. The game rules can be found under the event info. And with that, I just want to thank everyone for taking the time to join us today and tomorrow. This is going to be a great event. It may be virtual, and I miss seeing many of you in person, but it should be a lot of fun. There should be a lot of opportunity for collaboration, and I look forward to seeing you in the chats.